Welcome to the Dental Decoders podcast. I'm your host, Brittany Rogars, and I'm here to help you crack the code on all things dental operations. Each week, we dive into topics to help you overcome roadblocks, streamline operations, and reduce team burnout. Whether you're an owner, a practice manager, or a team member, this podcast is for you. Join us for insightful discussions, engaging interviews, and practical tips. So sit back and relax as we crack the code on all things dental operations together. Hello, Decoders! Welcome to this week's episode of Dental Decoders podcast. As always, I'm your host, Brittany Rogars. And also, as always, I'm so excited to have you here. First, for those of you who are listening and not watching on YouTube, I'm sorry that you have to miss out on these absolutely insane 80s bangs that I am rocking today. For those of you who are fortunate enough to be seeing this on YouTube, you're welcome. That might be your inspiration to switch over to viewing the podcast on YouTube. And just a reminder that we are also a video podcast. You can check us out on our YouTube channel as well. Anywho, I'm really excited today because this week we have one of my new favorite people on the show. We have Caitlin Parsons, who, if you don't already know her, you should. She is sunshine in human form. She's so great. I'm so glad that I got to chat with her. It made my whole day. But Caitlin Parsons is a registered dental hygienist of the last 15 years and a chronic pain survivor. She used that chronic pain to kind of pivot in her career and become a certified yoga therapist and ergonomic consultant for dental professionals. Kaitlin helps dental professionals prevent, reduce, and overcome workplace pain, manage stress, and optimize their health so they can thrive in and out of the office. Kaitlin is still a practicing hygienist on top of all of the things. So not only is this her mission to help teach you, but it's something that she actually lives day to day. So Kaitlin is passionate about being a practitioner and helping practitioners and team member wellness to support better patient care, team cohesiveness, and practice growth through her in-person and online coaching programs, speaking events, writing, team experiences, and her podcast, The Aligned Hygienist. This woman literally does it all. She is so passionate about helping offices live a more aligned life, and that's why I'm so excited to be able to share this interview with you today. So without further ado, I'll stop yammering and let you check it out. Check the show notes if you want to be able to connect with her. All of her links are going to be in there. And for our listeners, she's also sharing a copy of her chairside guide, which we will also link in the show notes for you, which is just a super generous offer for her that helps you guys just learn how to live a little bit more aligned in the office. Hello and welcome, Dental Decoders. I am so excited because I have Caitlin Parsons here with us today, who you probably already know is the Aligned Hygienist. Caitlin, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I have been patiently waiting for this call. Both of us, I think, have had to cancel on each other at one time or another to get this happening. So I'm glad we finally manifested it and we're here. I know our listeners are going to take away so much from you, but for those who maybe aren't familiar with who you are, can you give us a little bit of a rundown on who you are and what you do?
Yes, I am a practicing dental hygienist of 15 years who suffered from chronic and acute pain really early on in my career and almost changed careers, looked into disability, all of the things. And my pain quite literally became my purpose. So I am on a mission to help dental professionals feel better. I'm a certified yoga therapist and an ergonomics consultant. And as you shared, the founder of the Aligned Hygienist. So really passionate about helping both individual dental professionals, also teams, and just the industry as a whole truly thrive, learn how to prevent burnout, to prevent pain in our bodies, to manage stress, and like I said, feel good. Thrive.
I love that. We are all about reducing burnout here too. So I like that we're in different aspects of the dental space, but we kind of all have that same mission of just, we want the dental industry to be as successful as possible and everyone in it to be as successful as possible.
Yeah. And there's so many little pieces to burnout for so many of us. And sometimes it's systems and it's things on the back end of the business. Sometimes it's just actually ourselves and how we're taking care of ourselves.
Yeah. I want to dig in a little bit. We talked about that you were in a point of pain where you were getting ready to leave the industry. What was the like pivotal moment or the key shift for you when you decided that you were going to try and figure out how to stay in the industry? What did that look like, and what did that journey look like for you?
Yeah, you're bringing me back. I've been thinking about this a lot lately for some reason. So I will never forget where I was, what op I was in, but I was in a low point for sure. I had been in pain for a while, and like a lot of us as dental professionals or just human beings, it wasn't so bad. So I ignored it and ignored it, and then it
Mhm.
just got to be overwhelming, and I didn't have energy, it felt like, and all of those things. So when I hit my low, and I stopped feeling bad for myself and got more solution oriented, I stumbled into yoga classes and kind of kept going consistently to a hot yoga class. And it's the opposite of what I teach and represent now. But I remember going to those and thinking, if I can feel a little bit better after this really general yoga class, there has to be something specific out there for what we do. Because at the same time I was hitting my low, I was also realizing I'm not alone in this like I thought. I thought I was just a
Mhm.
random one. So I had that epiphany of there has to be something out there for dental professionals. And among my search, there really wasn't. There was people teaching yoga to dental professionals, but nothing specific to us. So that led me down a rabbit hole of searching therapeutic yoga and essentially moving from Boston to San Diego and doing two other yoga trainings and then doing my yoga therapy training. And I remember in that time of have like thinking about yoga and then just realizing I have to figure out how to heal my own pain. I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but I have to figure out how to heal my own pain so I can help
Mhm.
other dental professionals. And I also would get like visuals of me speaking on stage, and I was like 23 years old, this shy, quiet, more quiet dental professional, new dental hygienist, and I was like, I'm just going to ignore these things but hold this excitement and this mission. So
I think that's so stinking cool. And when when you find your purpose and you're aligned with that, aligned. See what I did there?
what I
It's
did there.
crazy how everything just falls into place, and it's like the light, the spotlight is on you when you're in line with your purpose. Everything just goes so smoothly. So
Yeah.
those
And
dreams
I
of being
tried
on the
for a
stage.
really, sorry, yeah.
No,
I
you're
tried
good.
for a really long time to ignore it, to
Hmm.
scoot around it, and all roads kept pointing the same direction. So, yeah, and it's funny, like you said, now that things are in more alignment, more things are happening, more things are opening. And it's even the same with our body. When we're in alignment, things are easier, we're more in flow, doesn't require as much energy, all of that.
Yeah. So I've got two different. My brain just forked out in two different
I
ways. So
know
I'm
I
gonna
kind of threw you for one there.
we're going to be asking a lot of all over the place questions today, but how do you manage being in practice and having everything going on that you do outside of practice while also being like a human being with a life who has to clean their bathroom and go grocery shopping and do all the things? So what's your secret?
My secret is I'm still searching for the secret, honestly. Even just my business. So I stopped working in 2020 as a dental hygienist and mostly did my business full time. I was also going through some like personal stuff.
Mhm.
And so I just started clinical again in October of last year. So October of 2023. But even before then, when I was juggling my business, I'm very multi-passionate. So I'm coaching, I'm consulting, I have programs, I'm speaking, I'm writing, I'm doing like content creation, and I'm all over the place. So, and I'm a person that it's easy for me to go, 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 and really hard for me to slow down. So I'd say the most important things is some sort of daily routine for me. And meditation is that for me. And even if my meditation is like I'm taking 10 really deep breaths or conscious breaths, or that I think is the biggest thing, a routine that mind and body is slowing down and becoming present. Usually I incorporate really simple stretches. Sometimes I do it in bed for 2 minutes, And then I take opportunities throughout the day to try and check in, to slow down, whether I'm clinical or I'm transitioning from leaving clinical to going home and being just a human or a human inside my business, or I mean, any of the things. I'd say it's the little moments and opportunities of checking in that keep me going.
I feel that in my soul. I just
Mhm.
introduced about 2 weeks ago sunshine walks. So first thing when I wake up, I want to get that blast of sun into my eyeballs. I'm really hyper fixated on sleep right now. So
It's
we started doing
important.
sun. Yeah, we can go on and on about sleep here. It's
Yeah.
so important. Every facet of your life is tied to the quality of your
Yeah,
sleep.
and it's interesting, I'm just finding out, and I felt this way for a long time. I used to be like, "I need 8 hours of sleep." Women and men, I mean, I think we're all just different in general, but it
Hmm.
seems like women need a lot more sleep than men do, and
Hmm.
I feel validated for the first time in my life. I'm like, I'm a very active person. I'm go, 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 but if I don't get a good I mean, I can function off not a lot of sleep, but I thrive when I get proper
Hmm.
sleep for sure. And I need more than I thought I did.
So check out the sunshine walks. It really helps
Yeah.
kickstart your circadian rhythm, and it's been working really well. I've been doing it for 2 weeks, but for those 2 weeks, I've gotten
Life
fantastic sleep.
changing.
Exactly.
Well, it is true. I mean, I think the most common thing a lot of us do when we wake up in the morning is to grab our phone and to start scrolling, whether it's work or not work. And that's one of the worst things that we can do. One of the best things is what you're doing and getting outside, even if it's, I mean, it doesn't have to be walking, but
Mhm.
being outside in nature, ideally with sunshine, ideally moving the body. That's ideal.
That just made me really excited. I love
I
talking
know.
about all my little
That warms me up.
hyperfixations, and yes, it's great. I suppose we should probably jump back into what brought us
Sunshine
here
walk.
today. But the next time we do an episode together, we'll just go on a sunshine walk together. It'll be a really
I
fun
love
one.
that. Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
So when my brain forked off and I went into two different directions, the other direction was that like chronic pain in the dental industry is everywhere. I know so many dentists and hygienists who are my age or just a little bit older who are already like, I think I might need to switch professions. And when you're a dentist in your early 30s, you're still paying off those student loans. You're stuck in that profession. So, what are some basic things that you can recommend or that you would recommend for someone who's starting to kind of feel that ache already? And what are
Mhm.
some of the changes that they can make inside their office for themselves and for their team?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I could spend hours on this conversation. At the top of it or at the beginning, the most important thing is to remember that our health is so important as dental practitioners. And coming from someone who has practiced as a dental hygienist and had this span of how I felt from chronic to acute pain to not being able to work because of it to being anxious, stressed, burnt out to feeling really good and noticing the difference of how I am, even as a hygienist in that range. Our health is the most important thing. And the most important thing we can do is prevention. So if you're experiencing any bit of pain, taking action now versus waiting. I
Mm-hmm.
waited. It didn't get better, newsflash. I kept doing the same thing and hoping for something different and it didn't change. So that is, I'd say, the most important thing is to prioritize your health and your well-being and find what works for you. What works for me might be different than someone else. Personally, what helps me is a blend of things, and I think we all go through different seasons of our lives, but finding an exercise routine that incorporates building strength that supports better posture, better alignment of the body, and also balances out stretching and reducing tension in the body from those tight, overworked muscles. So, outside of work, and we can also incorporate chairside stretches in work for sure. And that's something that I really recommend when we're writing notes, when we're reading notes, when our patient is getting numb, when we're waiting for our patient, when our patient is late and then they have to go to the bathroom and then use the phone. Like these are all opportunities we can get sometimes sneaky stretches that a patient might not notice or pay that much attention to. And then there's some more obvious ones that we might not do with a patient necessarily in the chair, but taking those times throughout the day, first to de-stress, to become more present, but to reduce tension in our neck and our shoulders, those are really important. And then when it comes to our actual ergonomics, posture is the most important thing. It is the foundation, the prerequisite for ergonomics. So good posture when we're, again, writing our notes, when we're in a team meeting, when we're in a podcast interview,
I
Caitlin,
know,
and
me
we're trying
actively
to go
sitting
over.
up straight.
Yeah. Um, and then not being afraid to invest in yourself when it comes to your ergonomics, whether it's your education, because what you learned is either outdated or not supporting you, or you want more information, or like a training when it comes to that, a coaching program, or investing in tools like ergo loops. If you have neck or shoulder pain and you do not have ergo loops, I highly recommend it. There is nothing out there that will allow us to actually practice with alignment or in good alignment. And then a chair that properly fits you. I'm a big saddle stool person. I think they are great for the majority of people, but finding a chair that works for you, whatever that is.
As a
I think.
non-clinical person, the amount of times I have fallen out of a saddle chair is just embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's a
I mean,
skill.
I actually use my saddle stool in my office, but I'm used to it.
Mhm.
It's set up for me. And if you're non-clinical, what I would say is also setting up, this goes for anyone,
Mhm.
clinical or non-clinical, is setting up your workspace so it fits and supports your body, so that when you're at your desk and you're using your keyboard and your mouse and even where your monitor is placed, making sure that you are in a neutral position, not twisted in some weird thing, not your elbow hanging out to the side and your shoulder lifting up every time you answer the phone to reach your ear. Those are things that when we do over and over again can lead to pain. And you talked about pain really common in clinical dental professionals, and there's studies that show up to 97% of us experience it. But
Wow.
this is also an issue just in general in our society. I've studied a lot just desk workers. And so
Mhm.
people at the front desk or whatever you're doing, it's tough, especially if we're not in alignment. I say this all the time when it comes to sitting. Three big things. I'm rambling, I'm going off.
Please.
Three big things is to notice how often you're sitting. So making sure that you're not sitting for long periods of time, getting up and taking breaks, chair side stretches, drinking water and going to the bathroom. It's this revelational thing in dentistry. So how long you're sitting, notice how you are sitting. So paying attention to your alignment, right? Neutral posture, and then rebalancing yourself from sitting. So if I'm sitting for X amount of time, making sure that I'm opening my chest, relaxing my shoulders, doing a forward fold that helps my hips, or doing lunges. So making sure that you're rebalancing those muscles from sitting in the same position for a long time.
I have a water bottle that says clench your jaw and loosen your shoulders. So every time I drink it, I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably do that.
I need that water bottle. Like, I think I need that as the Aligned Hygienist sticker too, maybe.
So I think it's a sticker on my water bottle, so I'll send you one over.
There we go. I love that.
So we talked one of the things in that list was about not being afraid to invest in yourself when it comes to your alignment. That leads me very nicely into my next question, which I wanted to ask about the programs that you guys offer and how working with you looks and what all that entails. I see that you do both like 4 teams and 4 individual practitioners.
Mhm.
So if you could dig in a little bit about what working with you looks like, I would really appreciate that.
Yeah, I would love to share. So a lot of it's customized. So
Mhm.
I two programs that I do have that aren't customized. One is I have a yoga membership. It's super affordable, $15.99 a month. It's just on-demand yoga therapy classes with me and sometimes my dog, who passed away. So I
Sold.
love actually
Oh my
watching them and just
goodness.
seeing her. It's okay. It was like 3 years ago. We can heal. So the yoga membership, and then I have Hygiene Well, which is a 3-month coaching program on ergonomics and therapeutic yoga and creating healthy habits for dental hygienists. That's all online as well. And then for coaching, I work with any dental professional, and it kind of depends on where you're at. So I always jump on a call with someone and how can I help you and support you in as little amount of time with as little amount of support for you as needed. So sometimes it's a few coaching programs. Sometimes I kind of combine some of my programs with one-on-one coaching. And then as far as I used to do really long, or not long, but I used to do 12-week coaching programs for one-on-one coaching programs, which is amazing. I think that's great for people that are in active pain and they want
Mhm.
a lot of one-on-one support. It's a little harder to do that virtually. It's pretty special in person. And then team consulting. So I go in and do anything from a 1 hour, hour and a half CE on ergonomics and therapeutic yoga for the team or any portion of the team. And then I also do just team experiences. So sometimes I'll do beginning part will be CE, then we'll do a half hour, 45 minutes or whatever of a yoga class. And then I've broken it up at the end to do ergo assessments per department. So breaking up and doing the front office and like looking at everyone's setup and doing really minor or subtle adjustments that make a big difference and doing that for every department. So it kind of just depends on how big the team is, what's needed, how I can best support, what room they have, all of that.
That's so cool. I like that it's customizable too, because like you said, every practice kind of has their own flavor and every practitioner has their own flavor. So what they can manage and make sustainable for them, I think it's really important that you have those customized options. So I
Yeah.
appreciate
And then I do like intake forms at the beginning to get a better understanding of what position everyone is in,
that.
where they're at, what they want the most support with. So it's, yeah, as customizable as we can for a team.
That's cool. Now, if one of our listeners, or most of our listeners, I'm sure, are listening back to this episode and they want to learn more about you, they want to connect with you, they want to find you, how can they do that? Where are you on the internet
Where
and
am
all
I?
the places?
Well, tragic news is I'm no longer on Facebook. Mine got permanently disabled because it got hacked the other
Ugh,
day. So it's okay. You can find me on my website. It's thealignedhygienist.com. I'm on Instagram at the Aligned Hygienist, or you can send me an email, hello at the Aligned Hygienist. And please reach out if this resonated with you. If you have questions, if you want support and you don't even know if it's me, that's okay. I'm here to help. I would love to connect.
we will obviously link everything in the show notes so you don't have to particularly remember all of those links. You can just slide down and click the link and they'll be in there for you so you can get connected. I feel like that Facebook hack thing is like happening to everybody right now.
And it's crazy how many messages I got about it, like on Instagram, because I posted about it, and there's nothing you can do because there's not
Mhm.
really support like for Facebook. I feel so enraged that 20, like that's like almost 20 years, not to
Mhm.
date myself, but 20 years of friendships and relationships and messages and pictures.
Mm, I'm sorry that
It's
happened to you.
crazy.
Oh, that's rough. I had to get verified at one point to be able to try and get support on my Facebook because it had gotten hacked, and even that didn't. I was fortunate; I got my account back. We did
Yeah.
not get permanently disabled because I've also been on Facebook since I was like 11, and there's some terribly embarrassing things I wouldn't want to lose on there.
I
Uh,
kind of feel the same way. There's some private things from
Yeah, so just super cringy things on there, but we will find you on Instagram and all the other places.
Yeah.
So, as we're kind of wrapping this episode, we end every episode with our signature question, which is what has been the decoding moment or secret code that has been impactful for you in your life or career?
Oh, you asked me this before and I decided to just be in flow. And now, what
I'm
is the
sorry for a loop.
secret thing for success? I want to say being in alignment is following your truth and your path, and that requires patience, that requires dedication. But I think at the end of the day, when we are in alignment, so much falls into place and it becomes so much easier and so much more joyful and successful.
That's beautiful. I think one of the things that I've enjoyed most about this episode is that alignment, yes, we're talking like alignment and like ergonomics and all the things, but we're also talking alignment in your purpose and in your life
Mhm.
and in just being balanced in general. And I like that we've been able to kind of look at it from a holistic standpoint and not just like from the spinal standpoint. So
Yeah, it's way more than just that. It's mind, body, energy, it's all of it. Yeah.
awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, Caitlin. This has been such a great conversation. I would love to have you back in the future so we can do this chat again.
Yes, I would love that. I had so much fun. Thank you. You have to
Thank
have me
you.
back. We have to talk about sunshine walks.
Yes, absolutely. I'll give you the update in a few weeks.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode of Dental Decoders podcast. We hope you took away a valuable piece of information. As always, don't forget to rate, share, and subscribe to help us build our community of dental decoders. We look forward to seeing you for next week's episode.